Hi, welcome to English 101. This is the first video that I have put out, so if you were looking for a video before, this is it. This is the one. If I could have you guys hopefully watch this within the next couple of days, that would be wonderful because I'm going to walk you through some of the things you need to know for the upcoming week. I am on my portal in our course class, and we are in week 2, so I'm going to scroll down here to week 2. As far as assignments that are to be done, you will need to complete some of these readings. For one, we're going to read about the writing process. That's a short little reading. You're going to read about how to format your papers in MLA format, and there is an example there, so I highly suggest you take a good long look at this and make sure that you know how to do formatting for your papers, since that is how every sketch paper will be in MLA format. Every first draft, every final draft will all be in MLA format, so make sure you're reading this closely. Also, read the process analysis section 209 to 211 in the College Writer. We will be working towards the process analysis in our first unit, as well as read understanding and assignment. Many of you won't necessarily need this information in detail, but if you could just skim some of those assignments and some of those readings, that would be great, so you're on the same page as everybody else in the group. Also, make sure you're signing up for MindTap, Aplia, and the online book. How you will go on to the Cengage login page and enter in the code that is actually on the code that you purchased in the envelope. It's a black code, and then you will use that email that I sent out to you guys last week to register in the course, so you have access to those assignments. Also, you're going to be doing an MLA citation activity, and what that is I'm going to click on this and show you a little bit more about this. The actual assignment is right here, and what I will have you guys do once you download that assignment and open it up is you're going to be accessing two sources on a library database, and I strongly suggest using EBSCOhost, Academic Search Premier, eBooks, or ProQuest, and you can click on this link here to access that. You'll also use the LATI library database passwords, searching for resources, and Boolean operator documents, and those are all under my portal's resources, so that you can have the passwords to get into those databases if you are in fact off campus. Also, there are two library videos, and I didn't send them to you via email, but they are located here on the link to the assignment, so make sure you're watching those videos. The librarian has put those together for you so you know how to use the databases. Also, I'm going to go back into this document here. A couple of helpful hints. You may want to use the sources you find for your essay, your process analysis essay, or your outline. And some of those sources may change as you write your paper, so don't get too stuck on one specifically, but be aware that you can use these for your paper, and that's kind of the point. A couple of reminders while searching the databases: use the full advanced search options, the full text box, the scholarly reviewed peers source box if available. It will help you. And then search synonyms of your topic to expand your search results, and then email yourself those sources that you find may work so you don't lose them for later on. You're going to type your sources works cited entry in MLA 8th edition as you see below, and you're going to determine the thesis statement of your article. You're going to introduce your source, type the thesis, and include quotation marks around the material if you take it word for word from your article. You'll add an in-text citation at the end of your information if you take the thesis directly. And then you're going to select two quotes from your source that you may be able to use in your outline or your process analysis first draft essay. We aren't actually working towards the first draft essay yet. This is the research process, so we are trying to get some research set in stone for your paper before you have to worry about that. If you're not sure how to do MLA 8th edition works cited entries, you're going to have to take a look at this link here, and I have an example listed below for you. So if you look in the example, here is the citation that I've created. This is the MLA works cited entry for an article titled "Consider the Lobster." If my process analysis was on how to cook a lobster, this would be maybe one of my sources. And I have included the article's thesis. In David Foster Wallace's article, Consider the Lobster, he poses the question. Now, everything that I have highlighted here is the signal phrase that comes, or the introductory phrase that comes before the information that I've taken directly from the article. The information I took directly from the article is it okay to boil a creature alive for gustatory pleasure? The author poses this question in the text just as is, so I've put quotation marks around it. And then I've continued my sentence in order to make the reader consider the moral implication of boiling a lobster alive. This is my in-text citation. Because I have included the author's name in the signal phrase, I do not need to include it in the in-text citation, but that was found on page 54. Always use page number, never the date, with the period after that parenthetical citation. Then I have quote 1, Foster explains the way to cook lobster as an a la carte entry. This is my signal phrase, and then here is my quoted material all the way towards the end here. And I have my in-text citation. I could easily just copy and paste this into my essay once I get there. So that's kind of why we're creating these quotes that we can use in our paper. And then the second quote that I found that I thought I could possibly use, used an introductory phrase or a signal phrase. Additionally, the author notes, quote, a detail so obvious most recipes don't even bother to mention, is that each lobster is supposed to be alive when you put it into the kettle, end quote. So and then I've included Foster 54 because I don't have the author's name in the signal phrase already. I need to have it in the in-text citation. So that was one of the sources that I'm using as the example. Now you need to find 2 sources, and once you look at all of those, the other 3 documents and watch the 2 videos, you should be able to easily create a citation from the MLA Purdue OWL webpage. I'm going to click on this here and go to the actual web page so I can show you that when you're looking at databases on my portals page, so you'll go to Campus Life, Resources, All Databases in order to get into the library databases, and say I'm just going to use EBSCOhost here. There's a couple of ways to find that citation. I'm going to click on this here. So say I wanted to do a paper on cooking lobster. That's my process that I'm going to be writing about. I have an article here. It looks like how to cook a lobster the McClune's way. So here is an article. Now there's a couple of ways to get this citation. You can either click Cite on the side of the article and search in here for MLA. Now this is the proper MLA citation, so you can just copy and paste this directly into your document. Now you're going to want to take all these caps lock off, and you're going to want to double check it on the Purdue OWL webpage, but oftentimes on this Purdue OWL webpage you're going to be checking it against electronic sources. And if you scroll down, you can find an article in an online scholarly journal. There is an example for how to cite an article in a scholarly journal, so you can actually take the information, create your own works cited page, or you can just click the cite here once you find it. You're also going to want to email that article to yourself once you find that article that you think you might be able to use. So that is how to find some of your sources. Hopefully that's helpful to you guys, and you'll just follow the rest of the assignments on that assignment. Also, you're going to be reading by Wednesday how to develop a topic, research, and then by Friday I want you guys to read To Bid the World Farewell, which is a PDF found under resources on embalming, the process of embalming, so that should be kind of interesting to read, and then complete this forum, which you will write 100 words for your initial post, 50 words for 2 peer responses, and you will follow the directions in this question. You will be using signal phrases, quotation marks, and in-text citations, so make sure that you are pulling directly from the article, specific ideas that you found interesting, unique, disgusting, or cool, and make sure you are replying to 2 individuals in that peer response. Also, you have a topic proposal due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. on Turnitin.com. That topic proposal will be about basically trying to figure out what your topic is. Now, in your topic proposal, if you go to resources, you're going to find that topic proposal assignment as sketch 1. It is the first sketch that we are completing. You're going to click on that, download the assignment, and look into it. It's going to be about 250 to 350 words, double-spaced in MLA format, and you're going to answer the following questions below. I want to know what process you're trying to explain and why is it important. Also, what is your working thesis? I have an example working thesis. Now, a working thesis may change, so be aware that this sentence could change in further revisions of your papers. But in order to write a great essay for English class, one must choose an appropriate topic, include all major sections of the paper, and revise in order to do well. So this is my working thesis if I was to write a process analysis on how to write an essay. And then you're going to also want to write how many steps are there in your process. You're going to want to include all the major steps and include them in a sequence. You don't need to break them down into tinier steps quite yet. For example, if you're going to do a process analysis on how to change the oil in the car, you might break it down into you might break it down into drain the oil, by taking off the oil filter, and then another step might be adding new oil and finally checking to make sure you've done everything correctly. So you don't have to break it down quite yet, because obviously there's a little bit more into changing the oil in a car than just those things that I mentioned, but you want to have the major ideas down. Also, think about why each major step is important and explain why each step is necessary. For example, it's really important to talk about how you have to drain the oil first before you put more oil in, because otherwise you're going to have an overflowing oil in your engine, right? And you don't want to do that. So consider thinking about why each step is actually necessary. And then also include in your topic proposal what skills or equipment are needed for this, and offer clear descriptions of any tools or materials needed to carry out this process. This is going to be only about 1.5 pages, but I want you to start thinking about what it is that you want to write your process analysis on, since that is the first thing that we're going to be doing in this class, is writing a process analysis. Now I'm going to close out of this here. And the next thing that I wanted to mention to you, if we go back to our actual page, I'm in trouble here, is go back into coursework, and you're going to see that we also have some MindTap Aplia stuff that will be due on Sunday night at 11. It's going to be mostly over your understanding grammar assignment, but I'm going to actually take you into Cengage so you know what it looks like on your end. It should, let's sign in. Once you have hopefully created your, or registered for the class, which I sent out those instructions last week, and we're going to go into English 101.0. So what your initial screen will look like is you'll be able to separate out what your assignments are per week. So each week you have a different assignment, and you can see that there are a few weeks that we don't have assignments, and we're done with all Aplia assignments, I believe, after week 13. So there's nothing else that you have to do after that. But this will list all of the assignments due that week. So for in week 2, these are the assignments that you have to complete. You'll want to read chapter 25 if you're not already very good at grammar, and that's okay if you're not, but you're going to have to read that if you struggle with some of these types of exercises. And then you'll go into the actual exercises and complete those by clicking on the correct answer. So you'll start assignment now. And the first question is, for each sentence, identify the case of the underlined noun. And then you find the underlined noun here, so it says news, and I'm guessing that that's an objective case. So I'm going to check my work just to make sure, because you can do that in this program, and it's correct. So I'm going to save my work and move on to the next question. Now here, say you get the answer wrong, right? Say I'm going to say it's possessive case. This question is, I'm going to check my work. It's incorrect. You can always go back and choose the correct answer, check your work, and save the correct answer. Now for these assignments, I'm checking that you have completed the work and that you have gotten most, if not all, correct. So you do want to actually try and get the assignment correct. Once you're done with the assignment, you'll submit the assignment, and it will tell you if you haven't completed it like all the way. So you can hit submit, or you can continue finishing up that assignment if you would like. As I mentioned, I'm looking for participation points on this. So